I am a taxi driver, and every day in my life begins early in the morning when the city is still half asleep and the air feels cool and quiet. I wake up before sunrise, stretch my body, and take a deep breath to prepare for the long day ahead. I wash my face, brush my teeth, and change into clean and comfortable clothes. I drink a cup of coffee and eat a simple breakfast, usually bread and eggs, because I know I need energy to drive safely and stay alert. When I finish breakfast, I take my keys, my phone, and my wallet, and I walk outside. The streets are calm, and I can hear birds singing softly in the trees. My yellow taxi waits for me near the curb. It shines under the streetlight, and I feel a small sense of pride every time I see it. I check the tires, the mirrors, and the engine to make sure everything is working well. I get into the driver's seat, start the engine, and listen to the soft hum. It feels like the beginning of another story. I drive out of my neighborhood and head toward the city center where the first passengers of the day usually wait. The sky slowly changes from dark blue to pink and gold. The world starts to move again. Some people walk their dogs, some ride bicycles, and some stand at the bus stop still half asleep. I roll down my window and feel the cool air on my face. It feels good. After a few minutes, I see a man in a suit standing near the corner. He raises his hand to call me. I stop the taxi, and he quickly gets in. "Good morning," I say politely. He nods and says in a hurry that he needs to go to the train station because he has an important meeting in another city. I start the meter and begin to drive. The traffic is light, but I can feel his nervous energy. He keeps looking at his watch and tapping his foot. I say calmly, "Do not worry, sir. You will arrive on time." He smiles a little but stays quiet. I focus on the road, taking the fastest but safest route. We pass a bakery, and the smell of fresh bread fills the car. The man finally relaxes and tells me that he overslept because his alarm did not ring. I laugh softly and say, "That happens to everyone sometimes." He nods and laughs too. When we arrive at the train station, he thanks me and pays quickly. He says, "You saved my day," and then runs toward the entrance with his briefcase. I watch him go and feel happy that I helped someone start his day well. I reset the meter and start looking for the next passenger. The sun has fully risen and the streets are getting busy. I see school children walking with backpacks and parents holding their hands. I drive slowly because there are many people crossing the road. I stop at a red light near a park. The trees move gently in the wind, and the sunlight shines through the leaves. It looks beautiful, and I feel peaceful for a moment. When the light turns green, I move again. I pass by a bus stop and see an older woman waving at me. I stop, and she walks toward my taxi carrying 2 bags of groceries. She opens the door and gets in carefully. "Good morning," I say. "Good morning, young man," she answers kindly. She tells me she needs to go to her daughter's house to cook lunch for her grandchildren. I smile and start driving. She talks about her family, about how her grandson loves soccer and her granddaughter loves to paint. I listen with interest and respond politely. She says driving must be tiring, sitting all day. I tell her that it can be tiring but also interesting because I meet many people and hear many stories. She nods and says that she admires people who work with patience. When we arrive at her daughter's house, she pays me and gives me a small candy. "Take this," she says with a smile. I laugh and thank her. Then I drive away, unwrapping the candy and tasting its sweet flavor. Small moments like that make my job feel special. As I drive through the city, I see a young couple standing near a shopping mall with heavy bags in their hands. They look tired, so I stop and they get in. They're going to the bus terminal because they have to travel to another town for a wedding. They talk excitedly about what they will wear and what gift they bought. Their happiness fills the taxi like sunshine. I join their laughter and wish them a fun trip when they get off. The morning passes quickly, and soon it is noon. The sun is strong and the roads are hot. I park under a tree and take a short break. I drink water and eat a sandwich I brought from home. I check my phone for messages and read the news. For a few minutes, I just rest quietly and watch people walk by. Some eat ice cream, some talk on their phones, and some hurry to work. After my short rest, I start the car again and continue driving. Around 1 o'clock, it suddenly starts raining. The sky turns gray and raindrops hit the windshield. I turn on the wipers, and they move back and forth with a soft sound. The rain makes the air cooler, but the traffic becomes slower. People rush to find taxis to stay dry. I see a woman holding an umbrella that is blowing in the wind. She waves at me, and I stop. She quickly gets in, shaking water off her coat. "Thank you," she says with a smile. She tells me she needs to go to her office because she has an important meeting. I drive carefully through the rain. She sighs and says she hates rainy days because they make everything late. I tell her that rain also makes the city look calm and shiny. She looks out the window and smiles, saying, "You are right. The city does look peaceful when it rains." When we arrive at her office, she thanks me and pays. I watch her run into the building with her umbrella, and then I drive toward a quieter street. The rain continues for a while, and then it stops. The sun comes out again, and a rainbow appears in the distance. I slow down and admire it. Life as a taxi driver is full of moments like that, short and simple but meaningful. Later in the afternoon, I pick up a passenger who changes my mood completely. It is a small boy and his father. They are standing near a park, and the father waves to me. When they get in, I greet them, and the boy smiles shyly. The father tells me they are going to the hospital for a checkup because the boy broke his arm last month. I nod and drive gently, avoiding bumps in the road. The boy tells me proudly that he can still draw with his other hand. I laugh and tell him he must be very talented. He grins, and his father smiles too. When we reach the hospital, the father pays and thanks me for driving carefully. I say goodbye, and the boy waves with his small bandaged arm. I feel my heart warm as I drive away. In the evening, the traffic becomes heavy again. The streets fill with cars, buses, bicycles, and people. I stay calm, keeping a steady hand on the steering wheel. I see a man in a white apron waving at me outside a restaurant. He looks like a chef. He gets in and tells me he needs to go to the market to buy fresh vegetables before it closes. I start driving quickly but safely because I know he is in a hurry. He tells me he has a restaurant near the beach and that today he needs special ingredients for a dinner event. We talk about food, and he describes how he cooks fish with lemon and herbs. The smell in my imagination makes me hungry. When we arrive at the market, he pays me and says, "Come to my restaurant one day. I will give you a free meal." I laugh and thank him. I tell him I will come if I have the chance. The market is full of colors, and for a moment I watch people walking with bags of fruits and vegetables before I drive away. As the sun sets, the sky turns orange and pink. The city lights begin to shine, and the air becomes cooler again. I pick up a few more passengers. One is a group of students going to a concert. They are excited, singing softly in the back seat. Another is a tired office worker who says nothing, just stares out the window until we reach his home. I have learned that silence can also be a kind of communication. Sometimes people just need a quiet ride. When the clock shows 8 in the evening, I start to feel tired. I think about going home soon, but I decide to take one last passenger. I drive slowly along a quiet street near the river. The city looks peaceful at night. Then I see an old man waving. I stop and he gets in slowly. He tells me he wants to go to the train station to meet his granddaughter who is arriving from another city. He talks softly about how he has not seen her for 2 years because of the pandemic. He says she used to call him every week, and now she's finally coming home. His voice is full of happiness. I smile and say that she will be very happy to see him. When we arrive at the station, he looks around nervously and then sees a young woman running toward him with a suitcase. "Grandfather," she shouts. He opens the door, gets out, and hugs her tightly. They both laugh and cry at the same time. I watch them through the mirror and feel touched by their joy. Before leaving, the old man turns to me and says, "Thank you for getting me here safely." I nod and say, "You are very welcome. Have a wonderful evening." As I drive away, I feel something warm in my heart again. The city is full of lights now. I drive along the river for a few minutes just to enjoy the view. The reflection of the lights dances on the water. I think about my day. I remember the businessman rushing to catch his train, the grandmother with the candy, the cheerful tourists, the worried mother, the brave little boy, the friendly chef, and the loving grandfather. Each of them shared a small piece of their life with me. Being a taxi driver is not easy. Sometimes I face rude passengers, heavy traffic, and long hours. Sometimes my back hurts from sitting too long, or my eyes feel tired from watching the road. But every day brings new faces and new stories. Every ride is different. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is funny. Sometimes it is emotional. My taxi is more than just a car. It is a moving part of life. Inside it, people laugh, cry, worry, dream, and hope. I am there for all of it, just quietly driving and listening. When I finally reach my neighborhood, I park the taxi near my house. I turn off the engine, and the sudden silence feels strange after a long day of noise and voices. I lean back in my seat for a moment and take a deep breath. The air smells of night flowers and cooling asphalt. I feel tired, but I also feel thankful. I think about how many people I met today and how each one left a small memory in my heart. I step out of the taxi, lock the door, and look up at the stars. The city is quieter now, but somewhere out there, another taxi driver is still driving, still meeting new people, still collecting stories. I smile, walk to my door, and think about how tomorrow will bring more of those small, beautiful moments that make this job worth doing. I turn off the lights, close my eyes, and fall asleep peacefully, ready to wake up again and start another day behind the wheel. Because I am a taxi driver, and this is my life, filled with roads, faces, stories, and the endless rhythm of the city.